Welcome, everyone, to Real Estate on the Up, the podcast that takes you behind the scenes of the real estate world in Orlando. I'm your host, Kyle Madorin, and on this show, we're all about pulling back the curtain with the unfiltered truth about real estate. We're not just here to sell houses. We're here to provide concierge-style service because everyone loves being treated like a VIP. This podcast is your go-to resource for transparency, integrity, and the knowledge you need to make smarter real estate decisions. Whether you're a seasoned investor or a first-time homebuyer, we've got you covered. So buckle up and get ready to move up in the world of real estate. It's time for Real Estate on the Up. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Real Estate on the Up. I'm Kyle Madorin, and I'm joined today by Josh Duclos. He has 8 years experience in real estate, but about 50 years of experience in sales. And so, as he put it, he's sold anything that can't be tied down over the years. He is an expert that's joining us today that focuses on a unique aspect of the industry that we have not had on the show yet, and that is manufactured homes. It is something that obviously here in Florida is very prolific. We have a lot of manufactured home communities, and that's why this is an important topic, because there's a lot of reasons that these are attractive for buyers looking in the area, but it's a little different than selling a traditional single-family home. Some different concerns to have, different things to focus on, and so we're going to bring him on the show and learn all about it today. So here he is, Josh Duclos.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you?
Fantastic. It can't be any better than this.
I'm glad to hear it. Thank you. So we want to talk today and pick your brain a bit on your specialty, which is manufactured housing. And I know that some people call them mobile homes still, but there is a difference between those types of construction, or at least what they're referred to. So tell us a little bit about manufactured homes in general and how they differ from mobile homes, and also a little bit about how you got into that specialty in real estate.
This is after my retirement. I've retired about 10 years ago, and then I spent a couple of years doing absolutely nothing and moping around. So my wife says, you better find something or else I'm going to walk. So I had no choice. And then I said, real estate always attracted me. So I said, let's give it a shot. And it turns out that this is the best thing I've ever done. I should have done that 20 years ago. Talking about mobile homes and manufactured homes, if your audience can just picture a date in 1976, anything older than 1976 is called mobile homes. Younger than 1976 is a manufactured home. What's the difference? One is brought in, both of them are brought in on wheels. And but the older one were taken on a lot, and then they would just put there, park there, and they would build a skirt around it. The manufactured home, they were wheeled in, but put in onto blocks and used tie downs. Back then, up until 1996, the tie downs were 8 feet apart and with the metal straps. Now, HUD came in and they said, well, we want to have it a little more secure. So now they have the tie downs at 5 feet 4 inches and with galvanized straps. So now there's a saying for people that when they look at mobile homes or a manufactured home, they don't know quite the difference.
Right. They
tend to call that a trailer. Well, to me, a trailer is something that you put behind your car and you haul around. So take the word trailer out of these circumstances. Mobile home is older. A manufactured home is tied down on blocks. There's millions of mobile homes in the state of Florida. Some of them are 50 and 60 years old and still standing. So we just went through a hurricane last week and some heavy wind the week before that. I've been in Central Florida for some 40 years now, and I lived in mobile homes most of my life, and I've never been moved. So there's some damage. Obviously, you have some carport that will be detached from the wind. The same thing would happen to a regular home. If you have a carport, some damage will happen to the roof. If something hits the house, the brick home, it'll break apart. Manufactured home is the same. It's very, very solid, and it does not move around. So people could look into a manufactured home and be very safe in that mobile home.
Yeah, that's a great point, is that they're well built. I mean, they're built off-site and they're manufactured in such a way that they put safety as a priority. And so I think you're right. That for whatever reason, they've gotten a bad rap. And I think that that has to do a lot with older ones that are not well maintained. And obviously, it's same thing with the house. If you have a house that doesn't have a well-maintained roof, well-maintained gutters, those things are going to be affected during a storm like this. But a newer one, especially one that's tied down correctly, should fare pretty well with almost anything except for the most catastrophic storms.
Correct. And talking about older manufactured home, older mobile home, should I say? I sold a 1960 mobile home about 2 years ago. It sustained a couple of hurricanes. As of today, it's one of those that did not have any damage. So, just to take the fear out of the people's mind, it's a great savings to be in the manufactured home. They're built just like a regular home, built in stick wood, stick home, they call that. It's very thick. The roof can be shingle roof, just like a regular home, or it could be metal roof. Metal roof have up to 50 years lifespan. So the insurance love metal roof more so than the shingle. The shingle roof used to be sold and guaranteed for 35 years. The insurance says, no, this is changed now. It's no more than 15 years. So yes, the insurance is taking good part of the people and to help them to buy something that is in good condition. So a little tough to have insurance.
We're seeing the same thing, obviously, with single family homes too. I mean, insurance is having that same regulation, which is the weirdest thing. You could have free, no trouble, but just because it's of a certain age, they want it replaced, which is, I'm hoping that changes, that there's some legislation.
Well, will it change? Don't think so, because they care for the safety of the people. So if a roof is not well maintained, this is where the leaks are going to start. And
Right.
if nobody to monitor this, then the first thing you know, the water sip through the walls and then creates mold and black mold, and people get sick, whether it's in a manufactured home or a regular house. So
Right.
I am not totally against what the regulations of the insurance are, but it's also making it a little more difficult for us to make a living.
It's a burden. Yeah, it's a burden on buyers and sellers, with the cost of insurance now. Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely. So with financing, there are some differences when it comes to the age of manufactured or mobile homes as well. Tell us a little bit about some of the financing challenges and the solutions that you have for different types of buyers and looking at different age properties.
Uh, that's a very good question. As a matter of fact, since this is my specialty, I had to do a lot of study and find out ways to finance these mobile homes. The cutoff date for most lenders, institutions, is 1977, 1976. You don't want to touch it. But I found a few banks and lending institutions, there's two of them, that will finance a older mobile home just as long as it passed a 4 points inspection. And so they will go up to 30 years financing. A couple of banks in town here will finance older mobile home, but only for 15 years.
Okay.
Never can be financed. An older mobile home can be financed.
Okay, that's great to know, because there's a misconception too that it's impossible to get financing on those. So it's good that there are some solutions, and experts like you obviously know those connections, where to go for that product. It's good.
I had a conversation with a transaction coordinator yesterday who was doing business, does business throughout the United States. And she was telling me a problem that they had up in Pennsylvania for mobile homes. They were having a hard time to find financing. So I went and proposed a couple of my institutions, and sure enough, they can work on it. But the other challenge that they were coming through is that the land was not owned by the one manufacturer owned, is on a rental lot. So that could be a problem for a lot of lenders. However, these two lenders I have will go ahead and finance these houses as well.
That's great. And that brings up an excellent point that we haven't talked about yet. There's also a difference between properties that are on land that is owned and is titled, basically. So that title will transfer when the manufactured home is sold, versus land where you lease that parcel and it's in a park where you don't own the land. Tell us a little bit about that And are there any challenges or things that buyers should be aware of when they're looking at those?
Well, you can purchase a mobile home on a lot rental because it's a lot less expensive. The value of these mobile homes on rental lot do not appreciate in value, but depreciate. It is just like a car. When you want to sell this mobile home in a rental lot, you don't actually go through a deed, you go through a MV, motor vehicle, the same as if you were the car. So for those people who want to just be quick and stay maybe 1 or 2 years in there, it's okay. For those who want to make this their forever home, there's a challenge that happens when the owner of the land decides to raise the rent more so than 5%. I've heard all kinds of horror stories saying that some of those land owners are selling these properties, these communities from each other so they can bypass the gouging law. So I've seen some rent going from $450 a month to $650. Yes. So I don't think this can be stopped. There's always a loopholes out there that someone will take advantage of. But if you're looking to purchase a mobile home for the cost, that's a great way to go, but stay away from a rental lot. Don't be attracted by the low price of these mobile homes because you will pay for it later. When you have a $600 or $800 a month lot rent, you could purchase a very nice home for a total of $700, $800 to even $1,000 a month and own it.
Great point. Yeah, no, it's true. With properties like these, when you're helping a buyer purchase and you're visiting the property, touring the home, what are some things that you look for that could be possible red flags in terms of condition and maintenance? Because it is a little bit different than going through a stick-built home.
Correct. The one thing that you look for, both of those manufactured homes, like double wide, it comes in 2 pieces. Some comes in 3 pieces. So you always have to look at the joint, the separation, and see if it's level. If there's a little lump, it's probably because the house is sagging from one side or another. This is Florida after all. This is sand. And when the sand moves, because of the rain, it gets washed away. Of course, the block that it sits there will just sink a little bit and it will start separating. The house will start separating. It's very easy to remediate to that because there's some people that qualify just to do this. But that's the first thing you need to look at. The second thing is to look at the ceiling, see if there's any stain mark on the ceiling. Walk through the floor, especially around the windows and the doors, because most of these manufactured homes, especially the older one, were not well, how can I say, they don't use as much caulking, or the caulking has deteriorated or dried up. So the water is going to seep through. And if you walk by these windows, you'll see the floor is sagging. So go around the entire house, through all the windows and the bathroom and the sink. And if you see there's a sagging in the floor, it's because there's a leak somewhere. Question that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Very interesting. Do you take a look at all, under the property, or do you leave that for the inspector to get under there and take a look?
Some agents are going under and they look at their property. The younger agent will. The older agent will just leave that to the inspector.
Yeah, I'm not getting under there myself.
And yet you're 5 years old. Imagine that.
Right.
The other thing that you want to look into is the color of the pipings. If you got gray pipings under the sink and the kitchen, this is called polybutylene, and this is actually not acceptable by any lender or insurance. You want to back off of that or have the seller repipe the entire house. It could be a few $1,000s to repipe, depending on the size of the house. Air conditioning cannot be more than 10 to 15 years old. Purchased a property about 3 or 4 months ago, and the air conditioning was still under warranty. And would you know that 3 weeks after I owned it, the air conditioning failed. The compressor was shot. So it's a couple $1,000. So that's why the insurance company are looking at the air conditioning to be not too old, no more than 10 to 12 years. 15 years is a little low. The 4 points inspection is actually the roof, the air conditioning, the plumbing, and the electricity.
I learned something today. I didn't realize that Polybutylene piping was a problem in manufactured homes as well, because that's something I haven't come across personally, but it's something to keep an eye out for. Very interesting.
Even for the regular homes, they were back then in
Yep.
1990, 85 to 92, I believe. I may be wrong on the date, but yes, in these years, you just want to look at the piping, whether it's a regular home or it's a manufactured home. Just open the door under the sink and see the color of the pipe coming out. There's also a CPX that could become brittle as well. So ask an expert.
Very good. Are you, in most of the communities where you work, is the home connected to a regular like city sewer, or do a lot of them have septic systems?
City sewer, especially in the 55 plus communities, most people
Okay.
mobile home lives in 55 plus communities. And so all of them are connected, most of them are connected to sewer, city
Okay.
sewer, and water. Yes.
Okay.
Some mobile homes outside the city limits on their own land, they may have 1 or 2 acres of land. These will have their own septic tank and they will also have a well.
Okay. All right. Very good. So very, very similar to single family homes in that regard then.
Not much difference. No. No.
Yeah. Very
Just the
good.
price.
Yeah, and that is a tremendous value, like you were saying. I think that if you're budget conscious and you're really trying to make sure that, especially as you get to retirement age, you want to stretch your money as far as it will go, it's a great option. And there are some beautiful 55 and up communities. I mean, very well maintained, very nice.
Yes.
So I think it's a good option. I know you work mainly in Lake County. That's kind of your home base there. Do you see that? I know that there are obviously some massive retirement communities up as you get into Marion County, like the villages and things in that area. But in your neck of the woods, then, what are some of the communities that you work in that are quite popular that you are sort of a specialist in?
Well, Lake Francis is one of the most sought after for people to live here. There's a lot of activities, a lot is going on in Lake Francis. Another one is Fox Run, also. It's very, very well known. The advantage Fox Run has on Lake Francis is it has access to the lakes, the chain of lakes. So if someone has a boat and they want to park it behind their house, if it's available, they can do so or go into a marina that is on the community. So this is the two most popular that I know of. There's many, many, many more in Lake County also. And most of them are lot rent. You don't own the land. So
Okay.
people are just being very cautious about that now. A lot of people want out of their lot rent.
Right. Yeah. And personally, do you handle those sorts of transactions also, or do you focus mainly on the lot purchases?
I focus mainly on the lot purchases because since I'm a real estate agent, and if it's a property that is not on the estate or on the land, then I have no reason to do business with that. Yeah, so
Right.
it's a different license altogether.
Yeah, it's like selling a vehicle, like you said before, instead of, yeah,
Hmm.
very interesting. Well, Josh, this is all really fascinating because I learned things today I didn't know. And I know a lot of people listening too. I'm sure this was very enlightening, opening up some options for people that maybe priced out of some other parts of the market, which we've seen a lot of recently as value shot up so high during COVID. Some people were feeling very depressed that they couldn't find something nice to live in, a place where they felt they could have a sense of community and the type of lifestyle that they were hoping for. And I think this is a great option for those people.
Indeed, it is. It's also the price is a big factor because they build houses today and the price will start over 3.5 to $500,000. Manufactured home, you can get a manufactured home for 150 to 250,000, $300,000 on the lake, easy. But you're not, if you were to compare a manufactured home on the lake versus a block home, we're talking millions towards, again, say 250, $300,000. So money has a lot to do with it. And especially if you get up there in age, you certainly don't want to have a big amount of debt.
Absolutely not. No, keep that money in your pocket, save
Yeah.
it for traveling,
Yeah.
enjoying yourself instead of spending on that. That's great. Well, Josh, thank you so much. I know we might have people who want to reach out to you. What's the best way that people could contact you if they have additional questions?
They can email me at Josh Duclos, JOSHDUCLOS .realtor@gmail.com. They can also text me or call me at 352-552 1266. A text is sometimes a lot better than a call because sometimes I'm showing houses and I can't answer the phone, but a text is very valuable for me.
Great. Yeah, we are always on the go in this business, that's for sure.
Yes. Mhm.
Well, Josh, thank you very much for joining us today. I really appreciate your time and your expertise. So, ladies and gentlemen, Josh Duclos, specialist in manufactured housing in Lake County. Let him know if you have questions or need additional assistance there. He would be more than happy to help you.
It was a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Sure thing. Take care. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. As we conclude another eye-opening episode of Real Estate on the Up, I want to express my appreciation for joining us. Thank you for being a valuable part of the Real Estate on the Up community. Your time and engagement mean the world, so make sure you subscribe and leave a review. Your real estate goals are my priority, and my team and I are here to provide the personalized attention and service that have earned us high recognition. If you have questions, need guidance, or are ready to make a move, don't hesitate to reach out. I'm just a message away. I'm Kyle Madorin, one of Rate My Agent's top 100 in the United States, signing off. Until next time, take care and make those real estate dreams a reality.